I guess the eagle has landed. Well, hello there, and welcome to my humble below. This is the basement. This is the WakeUp Show. And by the looks of it, you're awake. That's great. It's perfect. You know, when I first started thinking about doing a talk show from my basement, that was actually about a year ago. And then something happened, like a plague or something, and everyone was sort of like locked into their houses, and I became sort of a bit uncertain. Well, is this the right time? And I didn't get started on my adventure until like the after the summer had passed. Even it's embarrassing. I mean, I knew what I was getting into, and then it was just a matter of sort of gaining the strength and momentum to start my glorious quests towards San Francisco and talk show stardom. No, like, I don't even know what it is, but it is me enjoying myself being me, that's for sure. Now, this week is an interesting week because here in Nowhere, we're now at phase 3 of sort of like the waves of plague, of the corona plague, so washing over the country. And I talked to some friends of mine earlier today, and we were like talking about that there's this, it's like, it's something like it's pushing us down a bit, you know, because it's taking like, is this what it's going to be like now? Is this like we're just going to keep on sort of waiting for something to happen so that everything can get back to something that we don't even know what is anymore? A wise friend of mine once said, like, it's a wave. When you get hit by a wave, you know, if you're out like surfing or something and it drags you under, it feels like you're drowning. The most important thing to do is remember to just relax, because it's just a wave and it's temporary. It's not permanent. After the wave, it's going to be quiet water. So what you need to do is just chill. Might be another wave which will beat you down, even a third one. But still, they are just waves. And you, my friend, you are the ocean. And I think that's the way we run the intro, right?
Live from the dream, aka Drummond, it's the Wake Up Show with your host, Wolf Thunder Flitty.
Oh, well, we have a great show for you guys here tonight. But before I start talking about that, I have to talk about something which very much is financially related to the survival of our species. I got a little thing called Patreon. This is way too small. I have to sort of, through the magic of cinema, make it bigger. Abracadabra! Ooh. You didn't see that one coming, did you? I did it last episodes. I guess if you saw the last episode, you saw it coming. It says patreon.com/thewakeupshow, where you can go and support the show and get the full ULF experience. Which is kind of neat, because, you know, on Monday we'll be releasing a brand new episode of the ULF experience where I confront my fear of horses. Now, this episode should have been released ages ago. Like back in like the Middle Ages almost, but I was waiting for my wonderful technician Markus to come by and actually edit the thing, because, you know, I was once an editor. I am editor no more, and he solved the whole puzzle, and it's gonna be out there on Monday, and it's a great episode of the ULF experience. But enough chit chat about Patreonism. This is the Ask Me Anything episode. Because I was going to have a guest today, but because of plagues and quarantines and stuff, well, that didn't come to pass. So I'm here alone, but as you know, I'm not alone anymore. I have my wonderful assistant. I look sort of alone, I guess. That's okay. I'm fine. I got the children's clothes. Annette has messed up the whole thing because she needed to get clothes for the baby, which is due any minute now. No, it's a month. Relax. It's a month. I'm telling you this to myself. I need to relax. And I'm calm as bacon. Bacon's not calm at all. This is not going well. This is not going well. This is a disaster. But so then I was like, okay, it's hard getting a guest when everyone's sort of asked to stay at home and you're not supposed to sort of invite people and have parties and eat sushi and whatnot. So I thought, okay, so then we'll do Ask Me Anything because I like that. So now it's up to you, my beloved viewer, to ask me anything. And you know, I'm a very, very like easygoing kind of guy. Any question, no question too dumb or smart or big or small, I will answer at the best of my ability, no matter what.
There's already popped some in if you...
There are questions. My God, I wasn't prepared for that. That's very embarrassing. So, okay. So we have a question, Markus said. Then bring the question in, please.
Well, we even have multiple.
Well, let's start with the first. We'll do them one at a time, unless they're the same question. Then we can sort of bundle them together. We have a question.
So, Sophus
has a question.
Yeah, commented. Awesome show by an awesome guy. Thanks. Persona means mirror. Have you found the real you behind the mirror? Is it even possible, or is it a moving target? And if you found you, how did you do it?
Ooh,
kind of like a big, broad one.
That's a heavy-hitting question there, man. So you're looking for the man in the mirror, and you're asking, have I found him? Well, yes, I do. I'm here. Am I not? And well, this is tricky, you know, because the mind, which is located at the top of the meat puppet, has a tendency of overthinking things. And here's the deal. The moment you stop looking, you find it. It's easy as pie. Because you know, you start looking for yourself and you start looking outside of yourself. You start looking at other people, and then people will tell you what you should be or what you should do or how you should act or how you should feel. But if you stop for a second and just be quiet with yourself, you're gonna hear a lot of noise from the brain place. But the brain is a terrific servant, horrible master. Horrible master. And so what you need to do is sort of let this servant of yours, this chatterbox, just sort of just get all that stuff out. It just needs to ventilate, you know, like a friend just needing to get something off his chest. And you are the brain's best friend. But you are not just the brain, you know. And I like the thing about like the guy in the mirror, because it's a great place to start. Is when you stop and look yourself in the mirror, not look at sort of, do I have any zits or how's my hair looking? I know it looks great, don't worry about it. But actually make eye contact with yourself and keep looking into yourself through your eyes, like you would with any people that you love and care about. And here you see is a trick. Because if you look at yourself and you hate yourself, well, then you have your first assignment. Loving yourself. It all starts there, right? So the moment you can start loving yourself and accepting yourself and looking at yourself and just sort of being with yourself, then it sort of gets a whole lot easier to actually sort of figure out who the heck you are. Because no one else but you has that answer. Trust me, I've asked just about anyone, anytime, anywhere. And it came back to me. Was that an answer?
Well, it was an answer to one of the questions, like how to find yourself. But also, do you feel like you found yourself?
Yes.
Yeah?
But I lose myself like daily. I get lost. But I come back. And one of my life hacks is having a talk show every Thursday in my basement, because here I am connected to the here and now, which is now and not then or when or if or whatever. It's a good question. Thank you, Sophus. You are awesome. You said there were more questions?
Yeah, there was one more if you want to go for it.
Bring on the next question. Ask me anything.
Yeah, it's Jörg asks, what do you consider the best PC adventure game of all time and why?
Oh my god, that's a fucking good question. I would say it's Space Quest, and I would have to say it's the third one. It might be just childhood sort of fond memories from my childhood.
Nostalgia?
Nostalgia, that's the word. That's why you're here, right? But it was something about that game, because Roger Wilco is like a deadbeat, no good loser guy who sort of ends up on these space adventures. And it just sort of, as an ancient traveler myself, it just sort of, I like the lightheartedness of sort of, it's so serious, it's like cyborgs coming to kill him, but at the same time it's very light and fun and enjoyable, which in a sense it's what life is all about, but we tend to forget that. So maybe play more of the Space Quest games, but also Space Quest 3 was the first Space Quest game I played. I think they played the other ones at a later time, but it made quite an impact on me. It might possibly be actually that Jörg was the guy who gave me that game. Piracy forever, man. I hope Sierra Online doesn't come here now and put handcuffs on me because I copied that game. I actually read somewhere, this is very on the side of things, that Sierra Online realized that more people were pirating their software than selling it, because their walkthroughs sold more than they sold the game. Well, that's a pretty fun thing to happen. I like that. That was a great question. Great question. Thanks, Jörg.
Have you played like the King's Quest series as well?
I have, and then King's Quest 4.
But you like more of the sci-fi.
I'd take space over the Middle Ages or fairy tales anytime, even though I have evolved a bit, because as you know, I'm now knee-deep in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, reading with my wonderful son, and I have to say I feel sort of dumb because I've wrote it off as not cool, and it's fucking awesome. But nobody asked what books I would talk about, so I'll leave that for later. This is fun. I guess if we don't have any other questions, we have prepared some stuff, haven't we? We're not amateurs. We're like 29 episodes in.
Well, I've got a question for you.
God damn it, you got a question. I like that.
Yeah.
Markus has a question.
It's a question I like to ask people, actually.
This is like your question.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it's like an interesting insight into people. Well, now I'm overhyping it.
No. I'm looking forward to this.
I usually like asking, over in America, you have the death row with the last meal, you know?
Yes.
And I was wondering, what would you have as your last meal?
Oh, fuck. My last meal. Now, That's gonna last your final meal. Well, you know, in a sense, every meal you ever have is potentially your last meal. I'm just answering with bollocks. No, it would be a nice salad with lettuce, obviously, and it would have raspberries. My favorite raspberries. It must contain raspberries freshly picked from my garden. And then I would have some, what's those nuts that looks like brains? Not almonds, but...
That's not a pecan, right?
No.
Walnuts? Yeah, the walnuts.
Walnuts on top of that. And also I would like to have an orange on the side. Is that possible, or does it have to be one dish?
Well, from what I've understood, I don't know if they've changed it, but it could be as extravagant.
So there are no bars hold when it comes to your last meal. It could be like just like a table of chocolate pudding.
At least there wasn't. Like, speaking about chocolate pudding, I've heard about a guy that wanted like a big bucket of chocolate pudding, a big bucket of I think it was fried chicken, and then a big bucket of beans. And they all, you know, gave that to him because, you know, that's
You wouldn't deny a man his dying wish for a meal.
But I don't know if they've stopped being that extravagant or not.
And then also, could I have, my wife makes this really great Mediterranean pocket bread. If like with the salad, that'd be great. And maybe some honey, like just on top of that.
Just like a drizzle of honey, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Parmesan, is it too late to add Parmesan to this this meal? Oh, I'm getting hungry. My last meal.
Oh, a really big profound question just popped in.
We have a new question on the Ask Me Anything.
Yeah.
And that is the perfect time for big questions, because if not now, then when? I'm ready.
You're truly ready?
Oh, got to, okay, bring it.
Yeah. Christopher asks, what is the meaning of life?
Christopher asks, what is the meaning of life? The mother of all human existential questions. Why am I here? What is the purpose of this exercise? It's tricky because it's a dog bites tail type of scenario, but the meaning of life is whatever you choose it to be. It's completely at your feet. Because if you choose life to be meaningless, pointless, just this dreary, horrible exercise from birth to death, welcome to hell. And obviously, if you choose to go on an adventure in this existence that you somehow managed to get yourself mixed up in, well, then Pirates of the Caribbean all of a sudden sounds like a fun thing to do on your holiday. I guess also, if I would sort of continue on here for a bit, I'd say like the meaning of life in my perspective, of course, because it's me being asked, is the meaning of life is to transcend it. And by that I mean to actually to challenge the belief that death is the end, that this is the only thing that you will ever experience, by actually allowing yourself to open up to the ideas that this place is more than just what you can see right now. You know, like when you grew up, you walked around in your house and you was like, this is all there is. this is it. And then you look out the window and there's more. My God. And then you walk into the outside, into the garden, and it's like there's trees, there's stuff here, and it's bigger than I could have imagined when I was inside. And then, you get on the bus and you go into town. And there's more of them. There's a bunch of them. There's people all over the place, and plants and trees and stuffiness, and your quest continues. And it never stops, unless you want it to. Am I getting off track here? This meaning of life related material? I guess there is no jury here, because it's just me, the dictator of the WakeUp Show. Listen, it's a damn good question, but it's hard. Because you are in complete control of it. Because the moment you the thought, life is meaningless, I am a useless piece of shit, then the whole thing shifts. And then you're sort of stuck at rock bottom, and then you're like, there's no way out of this. It's a prison, and I'm trapped. But it is. And you're not laughing now at what I'm saying. It's a question, right?
Yeah, it's a new question.
It's a new question. My God. Would you say I answered the meaning of life question?
I mean, yeah, I think that's...
Did you find meaning in it? You're sort of like the guy who has to fend for all my obnoxious requests for clarity.
No, but I think there's I think all answers you give to that question is the right one, because it's
I have
never the right
addendum to it.
Okay, yeah.
This is, again, in my experience, because life in itself is what you make it. But since you decided to come here, and this is how I experience this, so you chose to come here, to this planet, to this meat puppet. Now I'm speaking about myself. So if it feels meaningless, why the hell did you come here? So trusting in sort of like your I don't know, I like the word destiny, like I'm here to do something. Regardless of what, but I'm here to do something, not nothing. I didn't come here to do nothing. And regardless of what the facts are about life outside our existence, I would rather think that I came here, I wanted to come here. I know that I wanted to come here because obviously I've been here since the beginning of time. But that took a whole lot of traveling inwards to sort of get to the point of no return and then back again. So I guess sort of like trusting in that you are you, which is sort of like the first question. So it just sort of pop back to Sophus's question when the meaning of life, if meaning of life gets meaningless, then you need to sort of go back to question one and sort of take around like, okay, so who is this guy and why is he here? And actually dare ask yourself these questions and listen to what you are saying and not to what some guy on YouTube is saying. Is that me? Guess that guy. Oh my God, don't listen to other people's advice. That's the advice. That's horrible advice. You were laughing so hard at that next question, so we're gonna, in traditional television style, do like a just sort of extend the sort of anticipation for what that question is, because as you know, I am a talk show host, and I was wondering the other day, like, do people actually watch talk shows anymore? And you guys know what I like to do when I wonder about things. I ask my fellow dreamers, and that's exactly what I did.
Are you a talk show type of guy?
Watching it.
Yeah?
Yes, sometimes.
Are you a talk show guy? Do you watch talk shows?
Sometimes.
Do you watch talk shows?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Why is it that people watch talk shows, do you think?
Entertainment.
They want to see famous people talking. basically.
Well, I think it's kind of it's easy. Like you have easy listening, you have easy watching. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you watch talk shows?
Nah, why? Don't know, actually.
Is the same reason, maybe the famous
Yeah,
people?
maybe.
The famous people. So people in the dream, thank you, beloved fellow dreamers. Watch talk shows occasionally, and they typically like the celebrities. Well, I'm sort of like a celebrity because I have a talk show, I guess. That's got to count for something. But yeah, it's strange.
I mean, where does the line go? Like where's the line of when you go from like a normal person to a celebrity? Like, what is that? You know.
Well, I can only speak from my experience, and I guess it's because now I ask people on the street, and they are like, "But we have no idea what the Wake Up Show is and who you are." And the moment they know, then you are a celebrity. It's very binary. It's either or. I'll let you know when we've passed like the tipping points. So this is the Wake Up Show and Ask Me Anything, and there was this question that made Markus laugh, and he has a fun laugh. But let's hear the question.
So it's Sophus again.
Sophus coming back with another question.
Yeah,
Wow,
with a more light-hearted one.
Okay.
What is the meaning of your mustache?
Oh. What is the meaning of my mustache? Well, this is a very good question actually, because for one thing, I used to hate having like a beard or mustache or any like facial hair. I just didn't like it. And I didn't even like having particularly long hair on the top of the skull even. I cut it short with like a machine like every 3 months, and actually didn't have much of a beard going until actually in late 30s. So it's not long ago that actually facial hair started growing in a way that didn't just make me look like a teenage dirtbag or something like that. And then it was actually it's the plague. So the plague happened, and then I stopped shaving and I stopped cutting my hair. So actually this is me not. This is a year of hair. But what happened was that I started to get like a mustache and a beard, and then when I was gonna do like the Wake Up Show, I was gonna do the show, and I was like, I need to shave. But then I was like, maybe what happens if I keep the mustache? And I kept it, and I looked at my face, and I was like, you know what? That guy looks kind of cool. I always looked awesome, but there was some awesomeness with the mustache that I didn't know that was possible until it was there. So I just went with it, and like, you know, from a eating your last meal at death row perspective, I have to say, you know, everything gets stuck in the mustache. You know, I'd get the honey up in there, the orange. It's a bit of a mess, but at the same time, it feels like I'm more of a defined. It felt right, you know, with the mustache, and obviously some people know the fact that I am from Trondheim. Obviously, it's a mustachy place, but I didn't start with mustaches until I became a proper dreamer and started my talk show. Is that an answer? It was an answer, that's right.
Yeah. That's a good answer. And
any more questions?
Well, I can ask you a question again.
You have more questions? I like this.
Yeah.
Bring a question, man.
Like, what's some of the movies you recommend the last, say, 1, 2, 3 years?
What movies would I recommend from the last 2-3 years? Oh my god, but there's so many nice and beautiful movies. Now I have to think back. Well, obviously, I have to say, like, my favorite movie in the past 3 years is this beautiful film called A Waste of Time, which my very good friends Christian Moe and Eric Williams made. It's a beautiful, wonderful film that very few people have seen because it's never been at the cinema, and it should be because it's such a great film. I love those guys, and I love that film. It's one of my greatest cinematic experiences was watching that film at the cinema, at sort of like a limited viewing. Also, I have to say, I really enjoyed Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But I have to admit, I did not know that the Sharon Tate murder was a part of the story, so I was scared shitless half the film. Not gonna spoil it for you, but I think it was great, man. And then, you know, obviously I really liked the Endgame. I enjoyed that, man. When Doctor Strange was opening those circles, I was like crying and laughing and enjoying myself, because, you know, when everything comes into place, you know, when everyone sort of follows their destinies and just the whole thing smashes together like a symphony, I like that. And I love that Star Wars film as well. You know, I love movies. I have to admit, come to think of it, in the last 3 years, I'm having a hard time. There was this movie that was really strange, but it was also something cute about it. They made it like I just sort of like that they do. I don't know. What's your favorite movie from the last 3 years, Markus?
Favorite movie? I'm actually more of a series guy.
A series or series?
Series.
It's a joke. That's a wordplay. What's your favorite series from as of lately then?
Well, there's a German one called Dark. Well, it's not German. It's in German, but it's on Netflix. Dark.
Have not seen it.
No.
But now I will.
Yeah. I really enjoy that.
Can I watch it with the wife?
I mean, if she's interested, yeah. It gets kind of loopy, and it gets kind of difficult to follow at times.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like getting lost.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good feeling, you know. What's going on? Yeah, that's that. Oh. Well, in the absence of a new question, I guess we can.
Well, there is 2 more.
There are 2 more questions. Then there's no. The universe provides, or my viewers. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about dropping the mic, by the way.
Yeah, well, the mic drop was at the right time, because you just delivered sort of like a great show that I haven't seen, so I want to watch that. So you have a question, Markus, from one of our viewers.
Yeah. Wow. Eric asked, does your spirit dream?
Does my spirit dream? That's a very, very cool question. Well, I feel like when I dream, I am spirits. Very much connected with spirits. And obviously this sort of again sort of maybe points to what do I mean when I say spirit, and spirits is obviously the real me, not this this is, you know, just a part of me. This is the meat puppet, and then you have the thing that sort of is the thing, and I would like to call that spirits, which is connected to everything, I guess. And you know, when you dream, you sort of leave the meat puppet for a while and then go on these crazy adventures. Dreams, craziest adventures. And then you wake up back in the meat puppet again. Fresh for another day. What? Could you repeat the question, please? I got lost in the dream there. Sorry.
Does your spirit dream?
Does the spirit dream? Well, in a sense, yes. But I would say that's this. This is the dream, that my spirit is dreaming. Yeah? If I'm sort of making any sense. Like if my spirit wanted to dream a dream, it would be this. This collective dream that we are having right now. I have to say it's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah?
Mm. Yeah?
Ask me anything, man.
Mm.
You're the second one.
Yeah. This one is pretty topical now with, the third wave starting.
The wave.
Corona, yeah. We started talking about it at the start of the episode.
Yeah, I did.
Svein asks, how long can we be corona and fear controlled, do you think?
Ooh. How? Well, it's a vicious circle, isn't it? Because fear has this tendency to sort of grab onto you and keep you there because you want to be safe, right? You don't want to be, well, out on thin ice or dead. That sucks. So how long until the fear and the corona sort of lets go?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to answer.
No,
like
repeat the question, please.
How long can we be corona and fear controlled?
That's I would say we can be corona and fear controlled indefinitely. We could keep that stuff going for a really long time. We're not. Well, we could, if we so chose. But here's the thing with fear. It's an invitation. That's how I like to think about it. It's an invitation to confront something. Now, as an old Jedi friend of mine once said, that's what we do. We confront fear. And also there's this great song. When you let go of fear, the truth will appear, so simple and clear. That really speaks to me, But letting go of fear means letting go of the idea that this dream is the only thing and that this reality is all that we have and we need to hold on to that for dear life, because if we lose it, we're lost and we're gone and we're dead and we're zero and it's nothing and it's black and it's forever. And you can obviously pretend like you're gonna be in the nothingness forever, like Sisyphus rolling that silly old rock up the hill. But you'll grow tired of that too, my friend, and then you want to get back in on the action, because that's where the life is, through experience. And fear obviously is a part of it, but also confronting it, letting it go, and daring to actually see the humanity in the tyranny, seeing past these structures that we have surrounded us with to keep us safe. When they are constructed on fear, well, what sort of a base is that? That's a shady structure. You have to build your house on rock, not on sand. That would be what a wise person would say. I guess the coronavirus, it's a virus, so it'll mutate, right? That's what viruses do.
Yeah, mutates over and over again. I think they talked about there being a new mutation now recently found.
Do you think the reason why we're so angry at coronavirus is because it mutates so much faster than humans, we should have wings now, you know, have superpowers and shit, and then the coronavirus is like, look at me, I'll just flip it 6 months, no problem, just a different one, look at me. And we're like, we spent 10,000 years just being able to stand up on our feet, and you just switched it like that. That's so embarrassing. Is it too soon to make jokes about deadly viruses?
I mean, some people would say yes, some would say no. I think we've lost looking at intent a lot, or at least it seems like we've lost a lot of the intent, you know, with cancel culture and all that. Yes. Personally, I feel like making jokes is one of the best ways to, you know, handle a tough situation.
It is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I think that's why comedy began being a thing, because something horrible happened and we had to you know, work through it somehow. And by laughing at it, we regain some of our control over it.
It's a crucial part of life, actually, being able to laugh at this experience, because it is. Well, that's a difference, like looking on the bright side of life. I'm going to play that the next episode, because I'm not prepared to do that right now, because we're doing the Ask Me Anything, and no one's asked me to play that song as of yet. Before we do any more questions, as we are a talk show, and I just wanted to sort of inquire into like what makes a good talk show, you know, because obviously I can just be me, which is enough. It always is, it always will be. But then again, it's fun to hear what my fellow dreamers has to say about what's like the thing that makes a great show. What would you say is like the key ingredient for a great talk show?
Yeah, I don't know. Good jokes.
I think they have to have a good guests which can talk a bit, and they have to make an atmosphere which you feel is natural.
Yes, it doesn't feel like fake.
And also the host needs to be a kind of personality.
Well, the most important part is the host, that he's making the guests get the best out of the guests, you know.
Yeah, make them comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable
like,
and funny, and you know, and ask the right questions, and maybe be a little bit funny himself, and yeah.
So you want to see the show because of the host, basically.
And that would make sense.
The guest isn't kind of always the most interesting, because the host makes them interesting.
Yes. So that's the host's sort of, I guess, job in a way, is to make anyone interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
And often it's very you have to have this band, of course.
You should have a band, yeah.
Host band.
A studio band, yeah, that makes sense.
But right now, audience is missing.
Yes. The audience would be nowhere in these shows. This is true.
So
missing the audience.
I do, actually.
That's the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, 29 episodes in, still no audience. I was so close there, and then they shut the whole thing down. It's going to have an audience and everything's going to be perfect. Turns out it's always perfect, you know, just being me. But sometimes, you know, it just feels like you should be somewhere else. And you know what I liked? You know what I really liked? Is, you know, the host. It's the talk show is about the host, and I'm the host, and I'm nailing it, because I love doing this so much that I am so happy. I couldn't be happier. This is such a delight. But sometimes, you know, you feel like you're in the wrong place, and I'm gonna play a song. That was quite the segue, I have to say. party I don't wanna be at. Oh, I have to go higher. I'm at a party I don't wanna be at, and I don't even wear a suit and tie. Wondering if I should sneak out to bed. Nobody's even looking me in my eyes. And you take my hand, finish my drink, say, shall we dance? Oh, yeah. You know I love you, did I ever tell you? You make it better like that. Don't think I fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. I always feel like I'm nobody who wants to fit in anyway. 'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear, and you're making me feel like maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. And I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere, and you're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. We had a party we don't wanna be at, trying to talk but we can hear ourselves. See your lips, I'd rather kiss them right back. With all these people all around, I'm crippled with anxiety, but I'm told it's where I'm supposed to be. You know what? It's kinda crazy, but I really don't mind. You make it better like that. Don't think we fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. When we walked in, I said I'm sorry, but now I think that we should stay. 'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear, and you're making me feel like maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere, and you're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. And you know what I like to, when I sing that song, I sing that song to myself. Because my baby is me, and I don't care when I'm with me. Which sort of circles back to the initial question from Sophus there. Oh, that's pretty nice. That's pretty great. And this is, after all, the Wake Up Show Ask Me Anything episode. Which I'm enjoying myself so much, I would just want to do it again, which we can, because it's my show. God damn it, I'm the luckiest man alive. Now, do we have any more questions, or?
Yeah.
Well, before we do questions, Or maybe you want to weigh in on this. Do we do the Ulf Loves Movies before questions, or do we do question and then Ulf Loves Movies? You know the questions, so you know sort of what feels. I'll let you sort of make your ruling.
Well, this question is one of those big, profound ones. So maybe we do Ulf Loves Movies first. Then we can give the question the attention it deserves.
Yes!
Because we've had a lot of, good questions coming from
great questions.
The viewers.
Yeah, I'm gonna we should write a book. the Ask Ulf Anything book. It's gonna be a great book. Now, as you know, and as sort of been talked about earlier in the episodes, I love movies. Run the intro.
What's the name of the segment?
Ulf loves movies.
Ulf loves movies. Ulf loves movies.
I love movies.
Ulf loves movies.
I love movies. That's for sure. And now, for some strange reason, this film, because this is an older code, but it checks out. This is an older film, and the film is called Jeff Who Lives at Home, and I think it's from 2011. And I watched the film with my beautiful wife back in 2011, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, but didn't quite feel it at the time, and now, just recently, it just maybe it was because I was on Amazon Prime, which is a streaming service, and the film came up there, and I was like, that Jeff Lives at Home film, maybe I should watch it again, and so I did. So I watched Jeff Who Lives at Home again, and it's a film about these two brothers. Jeff and Pat, and the film is made by two brothers, two wonderful, great guys, the Duplass brothers, I believe their name is, and they're so great guys, and it's Jason Segel plays Jeff, and Pat is played by the guy from Hangover who loses the tooth. What's his name again? It's not important.
I'm really bad at actor names.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Remember.
Don't worry about it. You can Google it while I talk some more, and it's just. Before I speak more about the film, and I have to again stress the point that Ulf Loves Movies is not about me reviewing films, because never listen to reviews, make up your own mind. And I thought it would be a good idea, to watch a clip from the film, because I found a clip, actually the opening scene from the film, and do you think we can watch that? Is that okay? I watched Signs again last night. It keeps getting better every time I see it. It's funny. The first time you watch it, it's hard to understand what it's about. It just sort of meanders. And then everything comes together at this one perfect moment at the end. And when you watch it a second or a third or a fourth time, you start to see that all of this randomness is leading towards a perfect moment. My favorite character is the little girl. Everyone thinks she's so strange because she can't finish a glass of water. She's convinced that they're contaminated. So by the end of the film, there are glasses of water littered around the house. And then, it's the water that saves them. And that was fate. I can't help but wonder about my fate. about my destiny. Yeah, so that was the opening scene from Jeff, Who Lives at Home, where Jason Segel plays this pothead younger brother, I guess, who lives in his mom's basement, and he smokes a lot of weed, and he has become sort of preoccupied with this idea that everything is connected and that there is this, that you need to find your sort of thing, and he starts looking for signs, and I haven't, and this is also quite fun because I think I saw the film Signs by M. Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan something.
Shyamalan. That's not important. He has a great name, and I remember that I wasn't too fussed about that science film, but you know what? I think it needs a rewatch because it just made me a bit curious. And I've seen his like lately. I've seen some like the one with the guy with all the personalities. Split. My God, that's a great film. That's also a film I really like. And I'm drifting off topic, but Jeff is like he's so invested in that there must be like the things happening in his life must happen for a reason, and it takes you somewhere, and that he has a destiny to fulfill, and I think when I watched the film like 10 years ago, that sort of rubbed me the wrong way, because back then I thought everything was sort of random, and now I don't. It just so much more resonated with that he's just sort of through being present and sort of like in the moment, he sort of sees these adventures and these things that you sort of won't see, and then obviously it's his brother Pat, who is not at all present in the here and now, and really sort of digs himself into a deeper hole of wishing that things were different, but not really being able to say what should be different. And I like that. And if the film is so like it's so nice and balanced, and then again I was crying at the end because it's beautiful. And it had this wonderful scene where they put on like the sprinklers at the workplace where his mother works, and I forgot the actress who plays his mother. But there's something about like this, just breaking this cycle of this mundane idea of what life is, and actually sort of daring to sort of explore reality, not just sit there and wait for it all to be over, which I really liked. And I think Jason Segel is a really good actor. I do. Yeah, I love movies. I do. I love a lot of things, actually. I'm a very loving guy, I guess. Now, this is not a movie review show, is it? This is a talk show, but this is also the Ask Me Anything special. And I think you said that there was a question.
Yeah, it's Svein.
Svein has another question.
Yeah.
I like that. It's good, it's cool.
Asks, do you agree with the poet Rilke, or Rilke, I guess, who said that the only journey is the journey within?
Oh, the only journey is the journey within. Well, I wouldn't agree or disagree, but I feel like there's more to that than just sort of what you take at sort of like, if you take it very literally. But you know, I would say what I take away from that sort of line is sort of like when you're centered and when you're present in yourself, then you actually become aware of what is happening outside of you, and thus you can actually partake in the journey that is your life. Whereas if you're completely disconnected from yourself, your journey will be someone else's journey, and thus you will get nowhere. But I mean, you again, that's how I feel. It is sort of like, okay, so you finding sort of like your place in the grander scheme of things is sort of like finding yourself, and you can only find yourself within. And so that is the greatest journey you can ever take, is sort of the journey of self-exploration. And I don't mean physically like, oh, look at this, but through exploring this thing that we earlier on talked about, naming it spirit, or your sort of the greater self that is you, not just a meat puppet. Is that an answer?
Yeah, I feel like that's an answer.
Rilke?
Rilke, yeah.
Is a German guy?
I mean, I can
You
do some quick Googling. I think the mother is Susan Sarandon, and the
It
brothers...
is Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, the
She's
brothers
great.
Ed Helms.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'd say it's a great film. It's a great film.
Let's see. Oh, from...
I also have to say, in adventure games, I really like Monkey Island.
Those are good.
And also I played it, on a black and white monochrome PC with just the PC speaker, but the music was still insanely great. I love the music on that. And I think it has the same thing, as with the Space Quest, where it's like seriousness, but at the same time this lightness and then the humor, like we talked about, that just like the jokiness of the whole experience, which I like. And also sort of like you just have to find whatever you pick up on your journey, and then you can use it. And especially if you dare journey inwards. I'm just tying the whole thing neatly together, you see, with a nice bow on top of it. When you sort of go inside and you see all the things that you've carried with you, and a lot of the things you'd probably label as things you'd want to get rid of because they're weighing me down. But they're also your superpower and the thing that you need when you least expect it. Because you were putting in the work. But you have to actually, embrace it. You. In all your flaws and your errors and your horrible mistakes. And then you have confronted the greatest fear of all, isn't it? You. Yourself. The I. Are there any more questions?
No, I think...
That's pretty nice. Oh yeah, well, that's not too bad, is it? I think those were really great questions. We went deep, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, we have some questions from the Dreamers. We can run those. If you could ask me anything, what would you ask me?
Where are you from?
I'm from around here.
Okay.
If you could ask me anything, what would you ask me?
Where are you from?
I am from Trondheim.
Trondheim. And why are we speaking English then?
Because it's an international talk show, so I have to speak English.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could ask me anything, what would you ask me?
I don't really know. I'm just wondering, what kind of talk show are you doing?
Well, I am doing a talk show which is called the WakeUp Show.
Yes.
Which is live every Thursday at 10 p.m. on Facebook.
On Facebook?
On Facebook, yes.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that.
No, but now you can.
No, I can.
Because now you know it exists, and then you can see.
I can see myself then.
Yes, you can. That's true, and you can also see whether I am a great talk show or not.
What was the name you said?
The WakeUp Show.
The WakeUp Show, okay.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
I have a good memory, but it's short.
The WakeUp Show.
Yeah.
The WakeUp Show, yeah. That's what's up. turns out people were very curious as to where I'm from. And obviously I am. The meat puppet is from Trondheim, born at the hospital in January for 43 years ago. But my spirit, you know, has been roaming the galaxies and the universes since past the beginning of time, before the beginning of time. But rest assured, I am here, in the dream, providing quality entertainment with my show. Man, I like doing the Ask Me Anything thing. But I mean, we've been going on, and we're past the hour, and I guess at least I guess the least thing I can do is do the thing that I always do, and the show sort of circles back into the great hereafter. When the show dies, only to be reborn again next Thursday, is that I go on the internet. This is an iPad, as you can see. It's connected to Wi-Fi, and then I go on the internet and I search the internet far and wide for a quote that I find is really like perfect for tonight's episode. There are a lot of great quotes. People make great quotes, but I am looking for one that sort of fits perfect. I want this to be perfect. You know, I'm not going for mediocre or just like average. I'm going for perfection, which is nonsense. I'm going for good. Good enough is great. Okay, so I found a quote and I'm going to read it to you into this camera. Or maybe I can hold it up for the viewer to see it, you know. Like this. There we go. Like that. There we go. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. Oh, sorry, make a change. Michael Jackson. It was the king of pop. No, he had like a title. He had a monkey, I think. That did work really well, didn't it? Because, you know, what I found when journeying inwards on the greatest journey was that it starts with me. I can only be me, and I can only better myself. And when I better myself, I can better aid the betterment of the world, our solar system, our galaxy, our universe, our multiverses, and the dream, which I am very much keeping alive with you, my friends. And looking into the man in the mirror, or woman, or dog, or cat, and actually staying there long enough, seeing the humanity, loving the person you see there in the mirror. That's how you make a change. Because you deserve, the person that deserves your love the most is you. And the moment you love yourself, then you have actually an abundance of love to give to everyone else. And you know, from the bottom of my heart, which is bottomless, by the way, I love you guys for asking me these great questions, for watching the show, my Patreons, everyone. Even the black hole in the center of our galaxy, just pulling everything in there. It's lovely. I enjoy that. The journey continues. Any questions on at the end of things? Do you have like a... Did I remember to say I love you, Markus? Because you are the greatest assistant I could ever have dreamt of.
Yeah, thank you.
That's not a question.
No.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I really love being here.
Me too. I love having you here and I love doing this. This is great. So much fun. We typically end the show with a song. And should I play not so loud, or is it?
If it works, it works.
If it works, it works. My head is true. I have to like be hunched back. Now I'm gonna. I think because we talked about like the afterlife, you know, the stuffiness and the seriousness. I'm gonna play my favorite song. You know. And thank you for tuning in and cut the camera one. And tune in next Thursday for another episode of the Wake Up Show. Huh? Oh no! Put the Patreon thing at the bottom. Become a patron, you know, you support the show, and then you can get like the full ULF experience, and you should do by Monday, because then there's a new episode of the ULF experience. I think maybe there's even is there a clip there that says something about horse?
Yeah.
You can run that clip. I do believe I have found my roots. I am a horseman, a rider of horses. I think my Indian ancestors would be really proud of me. Just two bros in nature. We got this. It felt right at the time, you know. Well, so now I'm just going nowhere. I'll play the song, and then we're good to go. Have a great evening. When my body won't hold me anymore, and it finally sets me free, will I be ready? When my feet won't walk another mile, and my lips give their last kiss goodbye, will my hands be steady? Will I lay down my fears, my hopes and my doubts, the rings on my fingers and the keys to my house, with no hard feelings? When the sun hangs low in the west, and the light in my chest, it won't be kept held at bay any longer. When jealousy fades away, and it's ash and dust for cash and lust, and it's just hallelujah. And loving thoughts, loving the word, loving the songs they sing in the church, and no hard feelings. Lord knows they haven't done much good for anyone. Kept me afraid and cold. So much to have and hold. Well, my body won't hold me anymore, and it's finally sets me free. Where will I go? Will the trade winds take me south through Georgia grain, tropical rain, or snow from the heavens? Will I join with the ocean blue, or run into my Savior true, and we'll shake hands laughing and walk through the night, straight for the light, holding the love I've known all my life, and no hard feelings. Lord knows they haven't done much good for anyone. Kept me afraid and cold, with so much to have and hold. Under the curvy sky, I'm finally learning why it matters for me and you to say it and mean it too, for life and its loveliness and all of its ugliness, good as it's been